Hey guys, how's it going? Rubik's Master here, and today I am going to be doing a unit review. I have a couple of these to catch up on as I've leveled up a lot since I was doing these on a regular basis. Excuse me. But we're going to be doing this on kind of a relic of the past, which is going to be the Ontos 2. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing a in real life video on this vehicle, but that's for another day. Right now we're just going to be focusing on the in-game qualifications of this vehicle. And the bottom line is, I think this vehicle is basically worthless. And here's why. So over the past 6 months at least, really more than that, all the power in the game has shifted over to units that you get during the monthly events. This unit is a remnant of the original game. And it is in the kind of rule of three as far as units go. And by that I mean, like, if you look at your heavy vehicles, you have your Rhino, Abram, Merkava, and then they added the T-14, but originally you had 3 tanks that, as you leveled up, you graduated from the old one to the new one. When it comes to your light vehicle with sustained DPS, you have your PK, your Humvee, and your Striker. And that's really it. Now, your light vehicles also had some kind of light artillery type stuff going on, starting with the S-13, going to the rocket buggy, and then to the Ontos. Now, here's where things get interesting, because really, if you're talking about the Rhino versus the Abram, there's not really any reason not to use the Abram over the Rhino if you have the Abrams. They do the exact same thing, just the Abram does it better. More health, more power, all that good stuff. But when it comes to these light artillery units, there is a strategic decision you have to make if you're going to use light vehicles, which is kind of my point. You're probably not using light vehicles. You're probably using M270s. At the point where you would choose to use an Ontos, you're definitely using M270s. But we're still going to talk about this. So, the S-13, last time I checked, things may have changed, but last time I checked, the S-13 shoots over walls. So, you deploy your units outside a base, you target a turret, the S-13s roll up, bypass the wall entirely, much like the M270s, except with a much faster moving rocket, and attack the turret directly. The rocket buggies don't do that. They have an arc to their rockets, but it's not enough of an arc to actually make it over a wall. So, if you use the S-13s, you don't have to destroy a wall before you attack a target. If you use the rocket buggies, you do have to attack a wall. Now, the Ontos 2 shoots its rockets in a straight line, so obviously you have to destroy the wall before you can attack your target. However, with the recent updates to tanks, this isn't as big of a deal, because the tanks with their massive damage basically destroy walls faster than light vehicles can. They actually destroy walls faster than my M270s can. So that's not that big of a deal. Definitely, the increased health overall is going to make the Ontos 2 a much better option. However, in light of how things actually are in the game right now, let's just compare the Ontos 2 statistics to the M270 statistics. And the reason I am actually making this video at all is because I'm hoping, really hoping, that in the next big patch that Kixeye does, they revisit the light vehicles and put some new energy into vehicles like the Ontos. Because really, even among the event vehicles, the reward vehicles, there's nothing quite like the Ontos. The Ontos is pretty unique. But let's look at this thing. It is weapon type armor piercing cannon, roll DPS sustained, speed 65, range 235, capacity 80. That's a really weird capacity. So the other ones take up 75. So if you look at units of its type, which I know we're going to compare this to the M270, but real quick, it's just kind of a quirky thing. The rocket buggy and S-13 take up 75 space, while the Ontos takes up 80. That's a really weird number and makes it hard to integrate it into a platoon with other units, because most other units, except for the sniper is really the only one that comes to mind, all the other units operate in either numbers that end in 0 or 5. I'm sorry, that are divisible by 5 and 10. You get what I'm trying to say? Like there's 75, 25, 20. You can easily add them up to make 100. 80 doesn't work that way. And I think snipers are the same way. They have a capacity of 80 as well. So it's just a really weird number. Range of 235 and speed of 65. So let's just take a quick look at the M270 for reference. We've got range of 380, speed of 35. So the Ontos right off the bat are much, 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 much faster, but have a much shorter range. And they only take up 20 less capacity. So let's look at the damage and health now. So with my equipment, I have an overall DPS of, let's just say, 900. And health of 1400. So 900 and 1400. And 1400. So level 2 Ontos does 825 and like 1050 health. Yeah, 1050 health or 10.5 health. So right off the bat, the Ontos is a little bit underperforming, but it is only level 2, whereas my M270s are level 8. However, I did just get my GMLRSs. So even if I upgrade my GMLRSs a little bit, and they're already more powerful than my M270s, the GMLRSs greatly overshadow this unit. Greatly overshadow it. So really all you're looking at for a benefit in the Ontos over the M270 is that this is faster. It's almost twice as fast, which is not saying nothing. But when you're behind a tank that has 15 less speed than you anyway, it is what it is. Basically, this ends up being a mechanized version of the Maw's forces. So I may try, it's a lot of resources and crit cards to build these, to build an actual platoon and try, but at some point, instead of just attacking buildings and seeing how this goes, I may build an actual platoon just to try and use Ontoses. And hopefully level them up a little bit before I do that. But if we look at the capacity used again versus the M270s, so for every 5 M270s, you could have 6 Ontoses. That's not really great returns. You're not really exceeding DPS much by putting in more numbers. So that is what it is. What else have we got here? We have, well, the equipment is, pretty straightforward. You have your same one that's used by the PK and the Humvee, which increases your health by a percentage. I like the percentage increases. And you do get a heavy machine gun when you hit level 4. So is that a secondary weapon? Air cooled barrel, because it shoots rockets. So I guess the heavy machine gun is a secondary weapon? That's kind of weird. Wouldn't have thought that. I actually hadn't looked at that before. That's pretty interesting. But here's the deal at the end, which is what I said at the beginning. The Ontos isn't worth using, really. It's kind of in that midway point between the M270 and the GMLRS, but if you've been dedicated enough to grind out the M270 a little bit, it's going to be more powerful, a lot more practical. You're not going to have to destroy walls to get at your target, and really the M270s are more suited to attacking with tanks anyway. The M270s can quickly change target to attack new turrets, whereas the Ontoses, they have a little bit of a recharge rate. So let's just take a quick look at the GMLRS too, since, like I said, this is kind of an in-between unit. Yeah, the DPS of the GMLRS is already a little more, is that? About the same, and the health is more. Speed is still 370, but the range, really speed, the only good speed does you when you attack is if you're a short range unit, you spend less time taking damage before you kill a turret. With a range like 400, you don't need to be super fast. You basically start attacking as soon as you enter a turret's attacking range. So the GMLRS doesn't have to be fast. It has an awesome range and does a good bit of damage. But that is that. Let me know what you guys think, especially you higher levels, the Ontos. Did you ever even use it? I've only ever seen it attack my base once or twice, and it was in a quirky platoon that ended up not winning. So those of you that ever use this thing, let me know if you actually enjoyed it at all. And until next time, y'all have an awesome day.